Hi everyone, welcome. I hope you're having a beautiful day. My daughter is napping, so we are here today to do this really fun color study exercise. So I learned about this from another YouTuber. She does acrylic painting, and she did this really fun exercise with creating a grid and then painting on it. She used all kinds of different techniques with her acrylics, and I saw it and I was like, wow, that would be really fun to try with pastel. So that's what we're gonna do today. This was one that I did last week and I love it. I've been just having so much fun playing with my art recently and not taking it too seriously. So I've been doing these more like cityscapes, and I've never done cityscapes before. I live out in the country, quite rural, in a very small town, and I don't know what it is, just summertime. I've just been craving going to a city and experiencing all that life and just being able to sit outside at a cafe or go to a farmer's market. So I did this one with some hard pastels, and then I'll show you another one I did also with hard pastels, and there's something on there. And this was a flower market, and I love this so much. It's very different from my normal painting style. It's much more loose, almost amateur. Like I said, I'm really loving not taking my art as seriously at the moment. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing more serious paintings. But this was just so much fun and gave me a lot of ideas. I think my followers on Instagram probably think my style is changing because I've been doing these very different type of paintings recently. So anyway, I did this, but I do want to do a more serious painting of a city market scene, kind of like this. But though I do love the bright colors in this, it's just so much fun. And I will honestly probably frame it and hang it on my wall at home. I love it so much. But I do want to do something a little more serious, more like an impressionistic painting. And I decided with the color palette, I want to try something a little more muted. So that's what we're going to do today with this color study. So this was using colors very similar to what I did in that painting I just showed you. And I also really love this, and I probably will frame it and put it on my wall. I just think it's so much fun and so different from anything else I have. It sort of looks more like modern art, which is not really my style, but because this is something personal and something I created, I would totally hang this on my wall. I wouldn't necessarily sell something like this because it's so different from what I usually do, but that's the great thing about what we're going to do today is afterwards you will have basically a piece of art that you can hang on your wall rather than just a bunch of sketches in a sketchbook. So the first step is I want to pick out a new color palette. So we're going to put that off to the side. And I'm going to show you this is just a palette that I had picked out for, kind of specifically for a flower market painting. This is a Heilman pastel box. Not sponsored, but I love these pastel boxes so much, and this is a new one that I bought. It's their Sketchbox Double. So this is a palette that I had picked out, quite a few pastels here. But we're gonna choose some more muted shades, probably not bright red. So I'm gonna start out with a turquoise because I love having that turquoise color. I don't know if that's the one I used on that last painting, but I like that. I want the pastels also to be pretty clean so that when I lay down color, it comes out, comes out pretty clean. So I like that. Do that one. And then I like these kind of salmon-y colors. So I want, like I said, I want to stick to a little bit more muted palette. Now that's pretty bright, but I do like it. Let's see what other colors we have here. I could always go into my other pastel boxes too. Okay. Ooh, I like that. We're gonna choose that one as well. And actually I did like this one, so we're gonna put that with the palette. I'm picking out 9 colors total. That's how many boxes we're going to do in our grid. You could choose whatever works for you personally, but I like 9 or 6 I think is a good number. That's a little too dark. I also want to say I'm choosing colors that are all sort of more mid-tones. I like that, kind of a warm yellowy green. I don't want anything that's going to contrast too much with the other colors, because the point of this study is to see how the colors play with each other, and if there's too much contrast, I think it's going to be a little harder to see just how the colors themselves, and not the contrast, but the colors themselves play together. Really like that. So here's the color we're coming up with, or the palette so far. I'm loving that. Sorry about the shadow. This is just my recording setup right now. Next, I want a purple. I think this is the one I used in my study, and I do like it. It's actually a little bit grayed down. Let's see how it plays with these. I do like that. Yes. I don't really have any other good. That one's good too. This one's a little brighter. I like that as well. So right now I have 5. I need 4 more colors. Let's pick out some yellows. I like this one. It's a little, I think it's a little less bright than the one I had chosen before. That one's nice. What about this one? That one's pretty bright. I do like it. Let's see. I think this is the one that I had done before, and it's very vibrant. That one's more orange. It's nice, but might be a little too much. We're gonna go with this one. This is a Rembrandt pastel. Yeah, that's And then rather than a red, I'm gonna choose something a little more muted and rusty that could possibly come across as red, but not so in your face. That one's good. It's very orange. Oh, I'm not sure about that. I want it a little more red. What about that one? It's pretty dark. And I can always go into my... Oh, that's nice. That's more of a pink. I like that. Ooh. Yes. Let's do that one. For sure. Okay. Now... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 2 more colors. I might want something, let's see, maybe some lights. I did use a few lights in my little study I did. Or I could do, that one's nice. What about that? That one's kind of a more neutral, which I really like. Let's see how that plays with the palette. I think that's really pretty. Or do we want, no, that's too close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 more color. So what are we missing here? We've got a green. We've got some pinks, got 1 yellow, so 1 yellow, 1 green, a blue, and 2 purples. So I could either do maybe another green, another blue, or another yellow. It's too vibrant, perhaps. Maybe I'm not sure I want to do a cooler green. I want to sort of keep it warm, if that makes sense. Maybe something mustardy. Let's see here. It's too close. I liked that one. Let's clean that one off and see if we like that. Or I could do another blue. Let's see what blues we have. Don't have a lot of blue. I could do a cooler blue. Okay, let's do that. We're gonna do a cool blue. All right, there are our 9 colors. Now I'm gonna show you how I grid off the paper. So this is the paper I'm gonna be using today. It is a 9x12 sheet of Canson Velvet. It's a little dirty on that side, that's okay. This is 1/2 inch artist tape, something a little wider, you know, 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, something like that would also work really well, maybe even better. And I noticed when I did this last color study that, I don't know if it's just I didn't press hard enough when I was taping it, but you can see that the color bled a little bit, because what we're going to do is wet this down. I'll show you. But I actually really like that. So I'm gonna not press super hard on this one either when I tape it down, but if you want really clean lines, maybe take your time pressing down that tape a little better than I did. Where is it? Can't find the end. There it is. Okay. Now, oops, got a little color there. I'm not a perfectionist, so I am just eyeballing this into thirds. You can certainly measure it out perfectly if you would like, but if you're like me and you like to just kind of get going and not worry too much about it being absolutely perfect, then you can just tape like I do. That looks like about thirds. And then we need to do these edges here. Whenever you frame things off like this with painter's tape, it just makes the finished painting look so much more finished. You can just do this on your regular paintings too. A lot of watercolor artists will do this, tape off around the edges of their painting and then pull the tape off to see if it looks finished or not, because a lot of times just simply putting something in a frame will make it look finished. So this is kind of doing the same thing. We're framing off these little squares. Alright. That one looks a little crooked. Painter's tape is, or artist tape, is really easy to reposition. Okay, I think that's good enough. So we're gonna start by, I have a stiff bristle brush here, very, very stiff. Kind of the stiffer the better, honestly. And some water. And I'm going to start out by taking each of the 9 colors and putting one in each square. So I'm going to start off by taking my color palette and putting one color in each square. If there's a certain way that you want to arrange it, do that. I'm not sure there's any particular way I want to arrange these colors. I'm going to kind of go by what I did in my previous little color study I did. So I've been using a glove on my painting hand just because, mostly because of my daughter. I might need to go grab her at any minute, but also I think it's just generally a good idea, honestly, the more I think about it. So I'm going to start out doing this color in that one. I'm just pressing really lightly. And then I'm going to do the yellow and this one. And then the green. And then we're going to do the kind of turquoisey blue. And the purple. I use all different brands of pastel, but my favorite is Terry Ludwig, which are these more kind of square shapes, but they are incredibly expensive. And they've honestly gone way up in price in the last few years. And I honestly think they're almost unaffordable at this point, which is really disappointing. But they are beautiful. Oh, that's the one I just did. Shoot. I should probably put the ones I've already used off to the side, huh? So we've done those, and we need... Let's see. That's not the one I just did, is it? There we go. These are kind of similar, peachy terracotta tones. This one's just a little darker. And then the light blue. Let's kind of clean that off a little bit. There we go. This is a cooler blue than that one. And then this is the very muted kind of mauve color. All right, now this is a very stiff bristle fan brush. I recommend using something that has very stiff bristles that don't take up a lot of water, because I find that paper, even water-friendly paper, can buckle if it gets too wet, like too soaking wet. So we don't need a ton of water with this. We're just going to lightly go over each square. And honestly, I should not have started with this red square. I should have done this one last, but I'm gonna keep going here. There's not really any way to mess up this process, which is so much fun. Like I said, I've been really enjoying just being more playful with my art. And just kind of lightly, you don't want to get it too soaking, sopping wet. Make sure you get those edges really well, corners. Just gonna make it look so much nicer. So I'm going to do this yellow next. I should have started with this yellow, not the red, but that's okay. Because I'm not going to change out my water. Just scrub it in. Put on some relaxing music. Just have fun. This would be a super fun project to do with kids, I think, too. Oh, got some of that purple in there. That's okay. Then I'm going to do this peachy color next. I'm trying to go kind of from light to dark, except for that red one. I should have done that first. So yeah, just scrub it in. don't need a ton of water. I love seeing how rich the colors get with water and pastel. Grab some of that purple again. Alright, let's do this one next. So yeah, it's been a very hot summer, and it's also very smoky here right now. There are some really horrible fires happening in a neighboring state, so it's kind of making its way here. And I've just been thinking about being in a city, maybe in Europe somewhere, being outside, sitting in a cafe, getting some flowers, and I'm gonna do this one next, and just enjoying some of those city vibes. And yeah, so that's where I'm letting my art take me. It's important to take time to play and explore, because you never know, you might really fall in love with something or learn a new technique. Sometimes I think, no, I have to stick to landscapes because that's what I know the most about. That's what most of my customers like to buy, and I just need to practice that. But any subject, you're going to be learning things that you can apply to other things you paint. There's always going to be composition, there's always going to be ways you use color, shadows. It all will transfer over to different mediums, different subjects. So yeah, don't get boxed in like that. Let's do this one next. That's a pretty turquoise color. I love that. I cannot wait to get this pastel down and start playing with these colors with you. Scrub that in. There we go. We've got two more. We'll do this one next. Such a pretty clear blue. Just one more, and then what I'm going to do when I'm done with this step is let it dry. I like to set it outside in the sun. We don't have a lot of sun right now, it's just smoke, but still just the warmth and the air outside will dry this quickly. And something about being outside also, I feel like, helps it not buckle as much. I don't know why that is, but something I've discovered. So we'll set this outside, let that dry, and I will meet you back here. Alright, so the paper is nice and dry, and here is my palette. So I'm gonna start going around. I'm just gonna pick a color from the palette and start applying it to the squares. And you can go in order, you can just play around, and kind of just start making marks. And I'm not really thinking about anything in particular. I'm not trying to create a certain scene or paint any shapes really that you could identify as something. I'm just making marks like how I normally make marks. So if you make marks differently, or if you prefer to, then do that. When I paint, I do tend to use a lot of the side of the pastel. So that's what I'm doing here. So this is I set the same color. I think that might be that one there. So I'm just going around making marks. If you like to make more sketchy marks or circles, do that. There's no way to mess this up. We're just playing with how colors interact with each other. That's the whole point of this. Yes, that's that color there. Okay, let's try this one. Kind of layer them on top of each other. Don't be afraid. At this point, I am doing pretty light marks. I'm not pressing super hard. Maybe towards the end if I want something more bold, but yeah, not really pressing very hard, at least not yet. Just drawing some lines, things like that. It's so much fun, and everyone's is going to look different. That's what I love about this exercise. And believe me, it's going to look so cool when you finally take off that tape around the edges and you see what it looks like. Oh, that's pretty. It's pretty against that green. So yeah, I'm not trying to paint any particular thing, but I mean it's very hard to shut off your brain completely, so I'm almost like thinking of doing little flowers, what that's gonna look like, because my plan is to find a palette that I want to do a more serious painting with. So that's cool. Let's do that. Just make some random marks. Let's do something over here. That's fun. Okay, now let's do we do this? No, this is the green. I only have one green. Oh, that's neat. You know, try to use some restraint possibly You don't have to, but I find sometimes we tend to go a little too far and do too much, and these color studies honestly think could help with that. They just help you to loosen up. We all need to loosen up a little bit, I think, just in general. And yeah. So I like to take one color and just kind of hold it and dance around from square to square. It's just what I like to do. This one needs some of that green. Let's do that. Okay. Now let's take, I don't think I've done this purple yet. That's nice. I think this is the darkest color that I chose for this color study. So I just want to be careful because there is going to be more contrast. That's really pretty. Kind of pressing a little harder on some of these marks. I recommend using quite soft pastels because you're going to get a lot more layering. And the colors are a lot more vibrant. So this happens to be a Terry Ludwig, like I said. Very expensive. So Unison is another really great soft pastel that I think is similar softness to the Terry Ludwigs. They are made in England, and last I looked, I think they're like half the price as Terry Ludwigs, so they're a great option. This is that more mauvey color. I'm gonna go in that and some spots. Trying to remind myself to maybe go in different directions. Make some smaller marks here and there. And what each of these little squares is going to show you is what different underpainting colors might look like with this color palette. And I thought that was so much fun with the last one I did because there were certain ones where I looked at them and I immediately thought, oh, that would be great for like a scene in a park, or that looks like something that would work really well for like a water scene. Just the way the underpainting really changes how the colors play together and what you immediately think of when you see those colors playing together. Okay, did I get everywhere? I'm not sure. There we go. Let's see. Let's do this light. This is that light peach. This is a little bit of a harder pastel. It's a Rembrandt. So I'm having to press a little more just to layer on top. You could maybe use, I like to think while I'm doing this, what would I use this color for when I go to do the painting? I could honestly use that peachy color in the sky. That would be really pretty. I could use it, ooh, I used quite a bit there. I could use it for flowers. If there's umbrellas in the scene I'm thinking of, this is that terracotta color, and of course I'm thinking possibly pots or buildings maybe. It's so much fun. Let me know down in the comments what you've been craving to paint recently. Is there something that is maybe not what you normally paint and you're just afraid of what people are going to think? You're afraid that it's going to distract you maybe from what you normally paint and be a waste of time. Honestly, that's what I'm always thinking, like that's gonna be a waste of time, but none of it's really a waste. So yeah, what is it that you've been wanting to do? Have you been wanting to do cityscapes like me? Have you been wanting to do still life? Maybe you've been wanting to do people. That's something that I haven't done a whole lot of, and I would like to. And in these cityscapes there are people. So that's something that I'm gonna learn how to do, is more figures. So now I'm starting to press pretty hard with these pastels because I'm building up layers at this point, and wanting to get some final fun marks in. That's cool. See, just have fun. Don't take it too seriously. Oh my goodness. Do some more linear marks. I've been doing a lot of just kind of blobs. So maybe just have fun doing some of those. Oh, that's that light blue. Let's do that. So this is a very light color, so there's going to be a lot of contrast with this one. So some different things here. Sort of thinking in my head what these objects might be. But not fully. And it's just fun. I find with that other one I did, it was super fun just to see where my imagination took me when I looked at each little square. I could see people, I could see an umbrella, I could see like a sailboat. It was so neat. And those underpaintings, these colors that we did at first, are really going to make a big difference when it comes to what your eye gets drawn to when you look at it. That is beautiful. Love it. Okay, so I think I've just about used every color. Just want to do some fun linear marks. Some of these with these harder Rembrandt pastels, I can kind of sketch a little bit, do some different marks. Okay. Now I'm going to take the tape off and we will get to see what this looks like. It bled again, so maybe that's just the nature of this Canson Velvet paper. But again, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it makes it look even better. You just want to be careful if you actually do want to frame this, just to not get these spaces dirty. But wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. So here is my first one with more vibrant colors, and then that's my more muted one. And I love them both so much, and you can see just what each underpainting color really does and how it changes it. Alright, well, thank you so much for following along. Let me know if you've done this and maybe some different things you've tried, and I just hope to see you guys in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.